Also start talking about street stuff, civilians, residents. That's where that whole loyalty thing kicks in.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Without getting into like street politics, those rules are different. One person leaves, you all go.
That's fact.
Yuri's not street whatsoever.
Right.
He's a civilian to the 1000th.
Is that why you say the dynamic works different with him?
It has to.
Okay.
He has it. It's just how you're brought up.
Okay.
Your experiences in life. You know, that's a big deal, and that's why when AD bounced, his people automatically, no questions about it. But it's also because they that culture that they're in demands that, expects that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but at the same time, one might argue, yes, this is the cloth that we come from, but now we're in big business headed to the corporate world. So we have to kind of change these morals, because if we're moving on gay morals, we're never going to get into that corporate building. Now, if a nigga said, if someone says stand on business as the message that's being pushed here, if anybody, fuck that, you're a big boss or whatever, you go into your business of work and you tell your boss, I'm standing on business, let's talk about it, let's handle it outside. I don't give a fuck who you are. There's a youth that I have an answer to, and there's a God up there. Yo, you're getting fired.
Yeah.
You're gone. You're at. Excuse me. You want violence here at the workplace? In big business, multi-million dollars?
I think that's where business education kicks in, where you realize that line, and there's a lot of people that don't know. You know what I mean? The street life bleeds into business life. You know, and I get it. You know, because it happens here. It happens. You know, my last. You know. Job, I guess you could say, that it always happens.
That's why it's definitely worthy of a conversation, because yes, as we're going off the streets, yeah, you leaving, I'm gone. I don't care right or wrong. I'm gone. You my boy. We did this shit together. We in the streets. We starving. We doing what we do. This is the streets.
Yeah.
We know what happens in the street. But this is podcast business, podcast space. You mean, because I'm a huge fan of T-Rail. Obviously, he's the #1 podcaster in this space. Shout out back on Fig. Origins in the motherfucking chat. You're in a motherfucking, you're in a nigga. #1, nigga. T-Rail, who is daring and unwilling to develop. Someone who comes from the rigid, dirty parts of LA and now is one of the cleanest niggas in the game. Why I'm saying this is because his willingness to develop. And you don't see T-Rail going crazy and bashing and not willing to have a conversation that's open. This right here is more like, no, it's only one way. And podcasting, I thought, growing up and loving this space, being huge fan of Joe Rogan, being huge fan of Adam 22, being huge fan of academic Charlemagne, Combat Jack, rest in peace.
This is where it bleeds in. This is where the streets bleed into business. You know, it works for certain things, and certain things it doesn't work for. That's kind of...
Yeah, it's definitely not going to work in podcast space.
That's what it is, you know. But maybe that's the avenue, the people, the clientele, they want. There's a lane there's a lane for everybody.
You know, there's niggas that's like, hey,
there's people that love that shit. You know what I mean?
But that's a good point. But at the end of the day, my whole thing, I'm gonna speak for myself, is like, it's so motivating and inspiring to see young black men who are now leaders in this space. With Joe Rogan kicking down the door, Gilly Wallow, academic Charlemagne.
Well, I'd go beyond black. I would go just minorities in itself, because we're not.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. Shout out Duno. Shout out Brown Bag. Shout out Lucky.
We're not meant to be on this level. You know what I mean?
Speak on it.
It's not something we're expected. It's just not us. It's not in us. We're not set up for this type of success.
Speak on it.
So I think it's a lot bigger than just a black thing or brown thing. I think it's more on the some minority thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Underrepresented, for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
Underrepresented.
Absolutely.
So if we're underrepresented, my thing is the way we conduct ourselves has to be immaculate. Because if
because we're everybody's gonna be under the microscope.
Come on, that's all I'm saying.
You know, everybody's gonna be watched extra. Everybody's waiting for the failure, waiting for the fucking the business to shut down.
Oh, they're the gangster street niggas.
There they go. It's only a matter of time.
There's the violence. There's the this. We know they couldn't elevate to this standard.
You're right. You are under the microscope, and you are held at a higher standard. You know what I mean? So